I keep trying to stay away from a gender war, but I keep having to go back to, if we don't work together as men and women and as lovers that created a family in the first place, then we're not going to have a family. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Shayla Jade. This is Chocolate Cake 101. I'm in the dungeon today, so if you see like a spider or something, please let me know. Nobody ever comes down here, and I don't want no problems. So yesterday was Mother's Day, and I've been wanting to talk about the mother archetype. We've talked about motherhood before when I talked about mother wounds. So I'm going to put the link up here so you can watch that episode. That is a part of my masculine feminine series. Men are from Mars, women are Venetian. I did so much about that. I did talk so much about femininity. Femininity, masculine feminine energy by itself is huge. But motherhood is a whole nother topic, a part of that. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of conversations around motherhood when it comes to glorifying and what the roles are and the everyday thing. Mothers are adored. Mothers are loved. But there's also a lot of controversy around motherhood, which makes sense, right? Because as important as a role is, if the role is not done right, it can cause so much damage. And I have always told everybody that mothers hold the key to the next generation. So just going to my notes. A lot of conversations around motherhood and mothers include giving them their props and giving them praise, but at the same time dragging them from stay-at-home moms to single moms to married stay-at-home moms to married single moms and even Mother Nature. So it seems like the most popular and celebrated of the maiden mother crone trilogy, trifecta, trinity is what I was going to say. She gets a lot of shit, you guys. Let's talk about it. My notes aren't that good, but I have notes on here too. So when I started doing the notes for this topic, I started to get teary-eyed. I have been a mother for 2 years, which means I started my journey in motherhood from maiden to mother around 2022, and it had been calling me for a while. Being a mom isn't just about having kids, you guys. Being a mother the mother archetype is the creator, the nurturer, the protector. So when you are a maiden, you're being protected. This is wild and whimsical young girl. You can make mistakes. As a mother, of course, you're going to make mistakes, but you own it as a woman. So this is adding dark feminine energy to it. This is adding masculine energy to it because you are a protector. This is also being able to learn and grow with yourself and with your creation, whether it be children or a business or a community, whatever that creation is. So I'm going to be talking about motherhood. First, I want to just talk about it in general terms, like with, I want to talk about what it is. I want to talk about motherhood in nature, Mother Nature. I want to also talk about our society with mothers, because single mothers get they get a lot of criticism when they should be getting support. And stay-at-home mothers get a lot of criticism when they should be getting support. And working mothers get a lot of criticism. Mothers, period. So it's one of the most important archetypes in our society because it is the archetype that creates and continues societies, create and continues life. And where we should be supporting these ladies, not just criticizing them, but supporting them, and also letting people understand what's going on. But I need you guys to understand what a mother has transformed a lot, not just with nature, but in our world. So traits of a mother: you have the nurturer, providing unconditional love, safety, and emotional sustenance. You have the protector, which is the guardian, the vulnerable, and advocating for growth, like I said. And you have the life giver, representing creation, whether through childbirth or creative expression. There was something else I had added to that. Oh, the teacher, which is the protector. But a lot of people don't see those as the same thing. To me, they are, because to protect you must teach. And that's a whole other topic, because I wanted to say something to that also. Then I don't know how to say his name. I think it's Carl Jung or Carl Jung. Jung is his last name. He's a famous psychologist. I think he works in the realm of the mind, but also spirituality in a sense. He added 2 archetypes to that. He added the devouring mother, which I talked about in my mother wound video. I already linked it. And then he talked about the martyr, which I was like, my family the women in my family, from my grandmother to my aunts to my sisters, we have this cycle of martyrdom that we are breaking. I have been breaking it. I talked about breaking the people-pleasing pattern. This is that martyrdom. I think that scares me more than any of these because you completely lose yourself. Then I don't know if you guys realize there's a TikTok trend going on. I'm kind of on TikTok. I have a profile, but I haven't been on it in years. I am currently in the middle of talking to TikTok, trying to get back into my account, but I heard through the grapevine, Instagram, that there is this TikTok trend of these young mothers showing before they had a kid at their best selves, living their lives, traveling. And then once they have a kid, the loss of the glow, losing themselves in having a child, and how depressing and sad it was. So I really wanted to talk about that because I have a 2-year-old. I just came out of that. Okay. And I really want to talk about it because this is unnecessary, ladies. Now, before I get there though, societies, historically, different cultures have always put mothers on a pedestal because, like I said, you have the ability to make or break the next generation. I want to talk about all the things that mothers are supposed to be, and you look at what I'm saying and you tell me how much of those things mothers do in our Western culture, in our current day Western culture. So my mom came home one day when I was a teenager. She with her job as a therapist or counselor, she would go to a lot of functions and have a lot of conversations with people. And so she was having the conversation of masculine and feminine energy, and historically talking about how it was a man's job to go provide for the tribe. And while the man was out providing, the woman, the mother, she had to take care of the tribe, the home. She had to take care of the tribe as a whole, but she also had to take care of the home and all the individuals in it. She does that whether he's there or not, because she does that for him as well. So she was talking about how the woman had to know what foods could you eat, like what berries were good. She had to be able to recognize food from around. She had to recognize what was going on with the weather. She had to have situational awareness. She had to understand individually what was going on with each member of the tribe. She also had to take care of herself, because if she didn't give to herself, she was not going to be able to give to the tribe. And that sounds very general, especially when you have all these men these days talking about, what do you bring to the table? No one ever says that personally, but in these online toxic conversations, it's what do you bring to the table-ness. So a mother's job, especially let's just say in a traditional home where there's mother and father and children. Let's also use this from a community standpoint, because mother is also going to be a daughter. So she has her parents, she has her husband's parents, and she has just the community at large, because it does take a village, right? So her job is, not only is she preparing her body to have children, and a lot of that she's not going to understand what's going to go on with her body, and every woman is different. So she can be sick, she can be tired, she could be weird, she could have food allergies and differences with food and smells and just all these different things to prepare her body. And a lot of those things, when it comes to women being pregnant and even postpartum, men don't give a shit about, and our society doesn't give a shit about. So really, they don't give a shit about you. But when that baby comes, her job is to, one, prepare the food source for the baby. That would be the milk, because when the baby is at least the first 3 months, it really is very sensitive to what it can have in its body, and it's always hungry, the baby. Then she's also still taking care of her body, because if she doesn't take care of her body well enough, she cannot provide food for the baby. I went through this myself with having a milk shortage because I was sick when I was pregnant. The mother also takes care of the house. This means physically. So this is what we already know: cleaning the house, cooking the dinner, cooking the meals. But hold on, you guys, it also goes into the health of the home. So this is knowing what foods we should be eating, the ingredients of the foods. Before current times, you didn't have to worry about your society putting poison in your food. So you knew if you went and got a chicken, you were eating chicken. But now it has this chicken been bleached and been bathed in bleach? Was it beat up its whole life, so it has stress all over its body, aka cancerous or mucus in it? Is it been genetically modified with other things? Does it have nanobites of was it mRNA or RNA or whatever it is? Is it a robot? Was it washed in hydrogen peroxide and low grade genetically modified vinegar? I mean, all these different things. And it's not just the meat, it's the vegetables, it's the grains, specifically the grains. It's what you drink. It's your deodorant, your toothpaste, your shampoo. your toilet paper, your paper towels, the dish soap. It's the air in the home. Technically, your job is to protect the home. And because there are so many chemicals all around us, you want to do the best that you can. And the reason why this is important, because I've said this so many different times, those little everyday products that you use, those little small things like the bleach on your tissue that you're wiping your vagina or your ass with, or the fluoride in your toothpaste, or you're washing your clothes and chemicals that stay on your body, all of these are producing cancer. And cancer is not one disease. Cancer is just a breakdown of a body in a certain area. So this is the longevity of her family. You guys were always worried about cigarette smoke or cigarettes. Fuck the cigarettes. It's all around. So that's the protection of those things. Another thing a mother has to do is protect the house itself. Any maintenance that it might need. I didn't say she had to do it. I mean, she has to be situation awareness. She needs to take note of these things. Now, the quote, what is it? About women making the house a home. That's what they're talking about. Because when a woman is there, she puts nurture and love into the home. Women are emotions. So she is producing whatever endorphins that this man that she loves is giving her. And she is making this house a home, making it beautiful, making it comfortable, making it nice to be in, making sure things work properly, and not just aesthetics, but also the health of the home. Then it's the meals. I already told you about that. Then it's also taking care of the people in the home. So understanding what's going on with dad, what's going on with the babies, any allergies that they have, any things that they might need, any abilities or disabilities that they have, what we can do to encourage their abilities or help with their disabilities. So mom is going to be in like a community outreach and help with the development of the actual family, which the survival of the family, this is, in contingent to the survival of the family. This means the family has already survived. Dad's job was the survival. We have the house, we have a car, we have food. Dad already did that. Mom is going to make sure it's thriving. It is a woman's job to make sure that the situation is a thriving one. We've already survived. Now we want to make this big and make it happy and make it as great as we can this lifetime. So this, like I said, includes whatever activities she wants to do, putting the children in activities, making sure the children are developing to the best of their ability. The clothes that they're going to wear, the places that the family's going to go, making sure her parents are taken care of as well as his parents. This is where, the woman is always the one that has the calendar of the birthdays from everybody, and she's the one sending the cards out and making sure the relatives are good. If there's plans to do something, she has everything marked on the calendar from doctor's appointments to birthday parties to anniversaries. She's doing this. These are things that you can live without, but what is life without love? Then, is that it? Oh, then, and this is the most important, I don't know why I put it last, she has to take care of herself. She has to take care of herself, which means she has to have the family on one schedule. Then she has to look at the schedule of her husband, the schedule of all whatever kids, the schedule of the family, the schedule of the extended family, and then her schedule in contingent to everyone else's, and work all of that in. You cannot have a happy life if you are not taking care of yourself, mama. This doesn't mean just physically. This means emotionally. This means spiritually. This means having the time to sit down and breathe, having the time for your own interests, having the time to take a shower. Okay. Now, that is traditionally. Did you just hear what I said? How the hell are you going to do that if you're working? In today's society, mom is now 50% of the income. If you are in a household where dad is not able to do his job correctly, now you have to take up half of his. Let's not say it that way, because most of my demographic is men, and this is not a blame. I'm not blaming, because then we're going to say, oh, it's not our fault. It's inflation. Society did it. That is true, but it's not accurate, because there are things that we can do individually and as a whole to get ready for whatever is going to happen with the world. So I don't know if it was in the 60s and 70s, whatever, with the feminist movement. We're not going to name blame who started it. Some say it was women. Some say it was white women. Some say it was men who were smart. And I think it was men. They started outsourcing mom. This meant mom's not at home cooking dinner anymore. She's not in the garden anymore. She's not teaching the kids anymore. She's at work. Mama got to go to work, because we need mama to make a paycheck. You can say for whatever reason, whether it was for the benefit of the house, you can say it was for the benefit of the government and the stock market. But she went to work, and food started being produced in factories. God knows what's in them. God knows where they came from and how they were made and how those animals and plants were treated when they got to you. So you don't really know the energy of them. And yes, that is actually very important. But so now you're getting these prepackaged dinners and they're coming to your table. The entertainment, I didn't say the entertainment. The kids have to be entertained and the kids have to be taught. Mom was doing that and before everything was homeschool. I'm not sure when public school became a big thing, and I could do this whole research, but for the sake of this conversation, we're not. We're just going to say public free education became a thing. Then there's the conspiracy and the politics of why, but we're just going to stick to all the kids started going to school and learning from a curriculum that was chosen from a family far away. Food came in from factories and mom just had to heat it up. Clothes came in from factories and mom didn't have to worry about the clothes and making them or where they were going to come from. Made her job easier. Again, we don't know where they come from, what fabric was used, how they were blessed. We just know that they came in. And what else? Even sex was outsourced because porn came and now dad can use his hands. So all these things got outsourced and mom got put to work. Now, even though they got outsourced, mom still is technically the boss of these things because she still had to administer them. She still had to keep up with the schedule. She still had to understand what was going on. And as time went on and people started getting sicker and sicker, if you don't realize there's all these illnesses and ailments that did not exist 50, 60 years ago. Now she has to keep up with what's going on with medicine, what's in medicine, how healthy is it? And if you guys don't realize, these things aren't easy because for some reason they're being hidden from us. When's the last time you went and asked your doctor for the ingredients of a vaccine? You never got it, did you? I didn't. I got this paper. They gave me this paper that talked about how important vaccines were when I asked for the box. We know why. So there's all these things you got to do. They say that men carry a lot of physical labor and women, it's intellectual, it's emotional. I forgot what they said, what it's called. They do a lot of mental work, preparation for the family to stay afloat. Okay, so if everything's been outsourced, the only thing mama really has to worry about is nurturing and protecting, except if everything's been outsourced, she's not doing a good job with protecting. And if she's busy at work and taking care of herself and trying to be, because you're still going to have one relationship with your husband. You're still going to want a relationship with your husband. So if you're taking care of him and yourself and working and helping to pay the bills, keeping up with whatever bills you need to keep up with, you are emotionally and sexually exhausted. So this is where what is that saying? It takes a village to raise a child. But the village, everybody's at work. What village? Everybody's at work. Everybody's at work. There's no village. And there is, but they come in the form of a paid teacher or paid daycare worker or a paid social worker. So it's really debatable how much of a village that really is, because while you are getting help, it's not the help for your household. It's the help for what their bosses told them they need to do for your child. So your child is not learning necessarily what you want them to learn. They're not eating necessarily what you want them to eat. They're not wearing necessarily what you want them to wear. They're not doing necessarily what you want them to do. They're doing whatever the guidelines of education and food and nutrition and all of these things are. And for a lot of people in survival mode, I just said nothing because they don't give a damn. But for people who are trying to thrive, you do care if your child is eating aluminum and heavy metals all day. You do care if your child is in front of the TV and not outside. You do care if your child is learning fake history and not getting something real that's going to, in the long run, empower them rather than teaching them to be obedient and follow orders rather than be creative. You know what I'm saying? Like, when children are first born, everyone has these big dreams for them. You know, Tommy's going to be a football player. I don't know how big that dream is, but Tommy's going to be a football player and he's going to be a scientist and he's going to do this, he's going to do that. But as you're raising Tommy and you don't have the energy to feed into the dream that you have for him, the glow is just dimmer and dimmer. And now Tommy's dumb because you've been at work and too tired to nurture into whatever you wanted to be. God bless LeBron James's mom. This gets into stay-at-home mom, single mom, and the man, Because Teal Swan just said it best. She said the value of a mother lies in the help that she has. And she wasn't talking about the village. She was talking about the support that you get from dad. Men play a tremendous role in this, because if there is no man to help with the actual providing of bills and households, she can't do her job. She's got to go do his job. And then there is no one to do her job except the oldest child, or, like I said, the community. So you have the children being raised by the kids down the street, or by the TV, like MTV is raising the children, or BET is raising the kids, or whatever. So they're learning values based off of what someone else has for them, good, bad, right, or wrong, whether they are doing a great job or whether they are setting your children up to be in survival mode and teaching them ill values. I want to talk about single moms most right now, because specifically in the melanated community, there are a lot of children who have both parents in their life, not just both parents in the household, but both parents in their life. So it's debatable what a single mom even is, but a lot of mothers do not have support. A lot do, way more than they make it seem on TV, but a lot don't. I don't know how you guys do it, but instead of swooping in to give these ladies support, we trash them. And maybe because on social media, when we see these type of women, we see women who have not fed into themselves, carry themselves in a low class way, teach their children to hate their dads, or to hate the community, to not have respect. They're really just not there. But you guys have to understand that, like I said, they're really not there to provide for their kids, and they're not there emotionally and mentally to provide what their children will need mentally and emotionally. So this comes in the form of needing more outreach programs with the community. And the thing, like I said earlier, the community, the village is at work now. The village it's their job. They're not there for the kids to be there for the kids. They're there for the kids because of paycheck. Someone's paying them to teach them or watch them or do whatever that they need. There aren't many government programs for children outreach in each community. And if the government's not doing it, the community definitely is not doing it. So I think in the old days, you had like the Black Panther Party. A lot of people think that was more of a political thing. It really just started out being a community outreach. They were feeding children. They were helping children with their daily needs. So it makes, I guess, depending on what you believe, it makes perfect sense that would be demonized and done away with. If mom is not happy, the household is weak. If mom is not protected, the household is weak. A lot of people talk about single moms and the government being her husband. There are programs out there to help you, whether you're a single mom or not, but a lot of these programs attack dad. I keep trying to stay away from a gender war, but I keep having to go back to, if we don't work together as men and women and as lovers that created a family in the first place, then we're not going to have a family. And again, this is not all of us. A lot of us have parents that have been married forever. We love you, Dad, but we just celebrated 43 years of him being married to my mom, even though he just left Earth. There are a lot of families that work together, even if they're not together. And that leads to another topic of conversation with parents, both mom and dad, actually being in the home. It's great that you as a father are there for your child every week, every weekend. But if you're not in the home, you're missing the day-to-day lessons that need to be taught to your child. I don't give a damn what anybody says about mom being dad, but mom shouldn't have to be dad, and mom shouldn't want to be dad. And a lot of these single mothers who talk crap about it, they only do that because they don't have a choice. They are making the best of their situation, but it is a distortion to believe that women actually want to be doing these things by themselves. Motherhood is hard, especially if you are trying to be a good mom, wanting to actually pay attention to your kids. I see a lot of mothers giving their children crap food because it's easier. But like I said, if mom doesn't take care of herself, if she's not in the best way emotionally and physically, then she can't give to her child. This goes specifically with pregnancy and postpartum, which are so overlooked. I had to fight to heal. I had to take my wellness into my own hands because the people around me were not supporting me. Don't feel sorry for me, you guys. My superhero parents got involved and made sure that I had everything I need to be the best mom, and my story ends well. And then it's so crazy. I heard this Reddit story about a woman who just had a baby, and her husband was being very unsupportive and not giving her money to even buy tampons. Okay. He's telling her that she should figure it out because the guys at work were telling him that she's just using him, which is the crazy work when you guys do that. It's middle class. You don't have gold for anybody to dig off of it. Again, I'm not trying to start a gender war. I want us to all work together. Anyways, she ended up telling her sister, and the sister told his parents and her parents, who lived, ironically enough, 2 hours away. And she said that both sides of the family, both sets of parents, got in the car, came to her house, surprised her husband, and got in his ass to the point where he was crying. The moral of this story was he did not realize, because we do not have in our predominantly, or should I say, in our patriarchal world, there's not a lot of support. We ourselves, women ourselves, we don't know what we're going to deal with. So of course the men around us don't know, but there's also not support for whatever it is. Like if you tell somebody I have a medical disability, or if you tell somebody that this child has a medical disability, everybody is sensitive to the needs to the point where it's literally babying them, but they're sensitive to your needs. But a lot of women don't get that same sensitivity because so many women have had to do it anyway. Historically, Black women during slavery, they had to find the milk for their child and the white baby. They had to still work while they just had a baby. Their baby might have been stolen, kidnapped, sold, fed to an alligator, used as adrenochrome, but they have to still work, feed these babies, and get to work. And so the strength that these women have had to have has turned them masculine. They've had to cut off their emotions. They have had to cut off the nurturing, the compassion, the grace, so that they can get the job done. And it has left so many women toxic masculine, the same way it's left a lot of men toxic masculine. When you're in a society of do, it's everything is, what is it? Work and no play, work and no relax, work and no compassion or grace or nurturing. What do you think is going to become of the children? What do you think is going to become of the women and the men? So what can you do if you're a single mom or a stay-at-home mom that's suffering? What can you do if you are in survival mode and still raising children? Well, I talk about it all the time, and I do. It's my plight, you guys. You have to get, and I'm going to go into it more. You guys already know what I'm going to say if you watch my videos, but you got to get yourself together and you have to make a plan. One thing that I love about social media right now is a lot of mothers are coming together and working together. I'm a part of some crunchy community. I think on TikTok, crunchy just means you're more for an authentic and healthy lifestyle. But if we put our resources together and work together, we'll get more things done. Let the shame go. Let the embarrassment go. Look at yourself and really be honest with yourself. We are in the whole world of social media. If you don't know how to be a mom, YouTube can tell you. Social media will tell you. But you need to make a list of the things. And this really just depends on where your child is. If you are pregnant, if you want to be pregnant, if you are pregnant, if you just had the baby, if it's an infant, toddler, a regular kid, a elementary school kid, middle or junior high school, or you have adult children. These are going to be different phases, and the kids are going to need different things. So it's really important for you to really look at, what does my kid need mentally, emotionally, academically? This is going to depend on what are the likes and what are the desires of my child, if your child is old enough to actually have his own life or her own life. You also want to look at what the food source is, right now it's a whole thing on milk and the different types of milk and what's the healthiest. I watched so many milk videos when I realized that I was killing myself trying to produce milk. I started looking at other milk sources, making milk or goat milk and things like that. This also goes, I live in a country that's going to tell you to do one thing only and everything else is scary. The mother, the protector in you, has to be bold enough to defy what everyone else is telling you to do. And hey, you got to do what you got to do. But what I'm saying is, do the research. I will tell you, Candace Owens has a whole series on, what is it called? A Shot in the Dark, where she talks about the things. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Helped her a lot with this. This was like a long time ago the series started, but they stopped it and they're continuing it. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is not in the conversation, but when she felt like he was a trusted source, she went to him a lot for those things. We're not going to talk about what's been happening recently. She talks about all types of different pharmaceutical interventions in the body, and she goes down the list. I have not watched any of these episodes. When I needed the information, I called up. I'm a part of this community of Black men who are like indigenous warriors, and they can give you whatever you need. I went to my private website. I downloaded it because I had been off of it. I hit up the guy that I knew to hit up. He sent me all these resources. I did all these resources. I went into it. Then I went to present it to Dad, and Dad was like, I trust you. If this is what you want to do, this is what we're going to do. So but you have to be brave. That's what being a mom is. You have to be brave, because it's not just your life. The things that you say and don't say will affect someone else's life. I will tell you, my child was in the hospital for 2.5 months. No, it was 2.5 months. It was supposed to be longer. And I was around all these different mothers, and I watched how they just did what was recommended. And don't get it twisted. I honor our medical community. My aunt is a doctor. I really, really do honor it. But while they mean their best, they're not perfect. That's why it's called practicing. But at the end of the day, it's a job for them. And their job is to keep that baby alive, because it's a customer if it's alive. Their job isn't to make your baby healthy. Their job isn't to keep your child healthy. Their job is to keep them alive. It is your job for your child to be healthy and emotionally well. That is why you have got to seep into your maiden mother self, your emotional, your feminine goddess, whatever, and be brave and be strong. Do the research, pray, ho'oponopono, whatever you got to do. I do have a video of how my baby survived the NICU. It was very hard, but it made me grow as a person. The basis of it is I had to dip into a spiritual part of me that honored my child as perfectly healthy, honored myself of capable of miracles, and honored everything around me as nothing trying to harm me, but working with me. I had the best of the best of the best. I had to trust that God put me around the best doctors that had the best information and the best medicine and the best practices. I had to trust. Trust and faith is huge in this, you guys. In everything, really, but in this specifically. Another thing about being a mother is having a schedule. I was watching this YouTuber. She was talking about she wakes up 3 hours before her kids. She meditates. She does her stuff for her. She takes a shower. She organizes the day for herself and for her family. And then she wakes the kids up and executes the plan. You also want to have a safe space for your children. You want to have an idea of if they're going to watch TV, what they're going to watch, and how much they're going to watch. I know you guys, it sounds so stressful, but this is what you signed up to do. And it gets easier. It changes based off of how old they are. And this is what I was going to say. You get better. I was scared shitless when I first became a mom. And now I'm like, with all of the whatever next level, I'm on it because it's a guideline. It's a guideline of how do I need to keep this kid healthy and safe and happy? What do I need to do to keep myself happy and safe and healthy? What do I need to do to keep my family happy, safe, and healthy? So you look at all these different categories and you execute, but you cannot do it for the family if you don't do it for yourself first. But the YouTuber that was talking about, she thought she was protecting her son by keeping him from the world. And he was saying, if you wanted to protect me, you would have taught me how to live in the world. That's what I want you guys to understand. I've said this so many times. If you want your child to run the world, they have to be comfortable being in it. So not teaching them about food and money and how this economy works in whatever part of the world, not putting them on game is a disservice to them. Do not treat your children like little beings that can't handle things, because they can handle shit. Teach them what's going on. You don't have to be brutal and harsh about it, and you definitely don't want to be. Keep that nurture in you. But you have to let them know what's going on so that by the time they become adult, it's not foreign to them. Working is not foreign. Money is not foreign. Real estate, the housings, the stocks, management of all these things should not be foreign to an 18-year-old. And I love it because right now you have so many teenagers that are just busting this game wide open. I was talking to ChatGPT about this, and they were talking about the different archetypes like Kalima and of course, I talked about the triple goddess, Mother, Maiden, Crone. They were talking about Yamaya. Is that her name? Yamaya. If you don't know who that is, that's the Starbucks lady. So Yamaya is the goddess of the ocean. But that lady, the Starbucks symbol, that's her. This was also talking about, I don't know how to say her name, Pravida, the nurturer and the protector, Durga. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but this is Hinduism. Please forgive me. I just had to do these honorable mentions, but I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name the correct way. I'm on the west side of the world, you guys. I'm sorry. But I have to think that honor and respect. So the last thing I wanted to talk about are the shadow selves of mom. I believe that the super mom ideal that we have in our worlds of I'm able to take care of the kids and look good doing it, like some Fran shit. Yes, you want to do that, but you can't do that if you don't take care of yourself first. The key to being that super mom is taking care of yourself first. And it also comes with having grace and compassion for yourself and knowing that you're not always going to get it right, but you always have the ability to improve and do better. Thanks, Dad. So there's this trend on TikTok. I said this earlier about women losing themselves when they become a mom. And so because they've lost themselves, they are regretting being moms. They feel like they have just died to self. This is called martyrdom, you guys. You have abandoned yourself to the baby. And I completely understand because I went through this as well. The reason why you're even going through this is because we live in a Western culture that does not care about motherhood and did not honor it. When you are going from maiden to mother, part of you is dying, but a part of you is also being birthed as well. Other cultures celebrate the death of the maiden and the life of the mother. Other cultures celebrate and nurture a woman through that transition. Having 3 months to heal while you're taking care of a newborn baby and trying to figure this out is absolutely diabolical. There, I got to use the word. It is diabolical to give a lady 12 weeks of time off, especially when other countries in Europe and around the world give women so much more support. I believe Germany gives them 2 years with pay. It's starting to look like, I say starting because I want to be cute, but it's always looked like it to me. You want to keep people tired and hopeless. Because if I'm tired and hopeless, I'm not going to teach my children. I'm not going to make sure that they're well. I'm too busy just trying to float from paycheck to paycheck. A martyr is someone who sacrifices herself for the cause, in this case, the baby. So as a woman in the United States or the Western culture who has a child, you need to make sure that your hormones are balanced. You need to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. I keep saying that in general, but what I mean is your hormones are balanced. You're eating well. You have what you need for yourself, not just for your baby. You have the time that you need for yourself to do the things that you need to do, such as take a shower, eat, sleep, but also whatever that you did for your spirituality, be it yoga, meditate, working out, and outreach with the community, spending time in nature, looking good for yourself, taking care of your body, your inside and out, taking care of your body. A part of taking care of your body is taking care of what the baby is going to need. So this is education on whatever area, whatever stage in life that your child is in, what it needs, what it's going to be doing, the development process, and then making sure what your child is consuming is good for you. It's very controversial. The topic of formula is very controversial. I don't want to say anything crazy right now, but you need to do your research. And doing your research isn't going to be easy because this is what I will say. If finding the information is hard, there's a reason. It's being hidden on purpose, and maybe you just want to stay away from it, but that's on you. And even if you are going to give a child formula, there are different types of formula. I've always noticed, to me, never mind, I'm not going to say that. Your job is to be completely in love with life, completely in love with yourself, your spouse, your family, life itself. Your hormones need to be balanced. One thing that really helped me bounce back and find myself again, because this is about finding yourself outside of your child. Shameless plug is Primal Energy. Primal Queen. I keep calling it Primal Energy because it gives me so much energy, but it's Primal Queen. I talked about this before. This is a beef organ that really helps with supplementing you with all those vitamin B's and zincs and all the things like that, copper that your body needs, that your body lost when having a baby. Now, Primal Queen does not market to young mothers or to new mothers. I'm just saying, as a mother of a 2-year-old, Primal Queen really helped me. I noticed, like I said, on day 4 that I had so much energy. Right now, I'm in the 2nd month of taking it, but I noticed that I have energy to do the things that I need to do. When before I struggled, I stumbled, I whined. There's no need to be resentful of your life. Just get back to it. And stop thinking you lost your glow. You didn't lose yourself and you didn't lose your glow. You're just unnourished. Nourish yourself. You can find my link for Primal Queen in the description. It does give you a nice discount and free gifts for your first order. I only order 1 month at a time. When I order things, I order 1 month at a time because I need to see the proof. Like I said, day 4. And right now there's no going back for me. I love this stuff. Along with everything else that I talk about, you need to stabilize your vagus nerve. You need to stabilize your state of being, whether that be working out has been a game changer for me. I forgot how much working out really helps your emotions. And men know this, right? Because men work out, but men who work out know this. And they say when a man is mad, he works out because it really helps. So when I started taking Primal Queen, I wasn't working out. And then this gave me the energy to work out. And that just made my emotions even more just, look at me now, I'm glowing. Or it's the light above me. But anyways, so I have a book, 31 Ways to Flow. It's free in my Stan store. It's on me, but it talks about over 31 ways to balance your vagus nerve. As I said, exercise, but you can also just get the sleep that you need. Meditation, breath work, Qigong, Muay Thai, Tai Chi, grounding, singing, humming, cold water therapy, which is also one of my favorites. Just getting out in nature. It's simple things that you can do. You want to balance, so if you're, for example, if you're meditating or you're doing like Qigong, it's one of my favorite things. You're doing this, depending on how unbalanced you are, depending on how unhappy you are, you want to do it 3 to 5 times a day, even if it's for 10 minutes. You will see results in as little as 3 days. If you are feeling suicidal, then you need to find community support. Sometimes it's not always going to be in your partner. Ask me how I know. Well, you can reach out to your family if you feel like you have that support, or therapy. I'm saying this because there are a lot of moms that feel hopeless, and there is no reason why you should feel hopeless because there's so much support. If you are needing financial assistance, then you can go online. My favorite person to follow is Lesko. He's that guy, remember in the 90s, that guy with the free money book that had all the question marks on his suit? He has a Facebook group and a YouTube channel, but he is an advocate. He says 40% of everything in America is free. We just don't know how to find it. The rich people do, but you don't. So he talks a lot about grants, but also free money. I think the website that he always talks about is gethelp.org. He says you can get help for anything. I say he says because I've only taken advantage of some of the grants, and trust me, I'm very happy. But I haven't taken advantage of like the free money sources, but I'm about to. I'm getting ready to. You have to do the research, but a lot of it is finding the communities it's finding the support in your community, because each county, each state has different rules, but the help is there. Do not think that you only have EBT or WIC or Medicaid. And by the way, I didn't even talk about things like that. You got to take advantage of government assistance if that's what you have to do. It's not there. You're not supposed to be on it long term. I think a lot of people get stuck and stagnant. And even when you have these resources, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to be bold. A lot of times when people are helping you, when organizations are helping you, they're helping you under the guise that you're going to do what they want you to do. Don't think that because you're getting their support that you have to do what they want you to do, but also be bold enough to find ways around it. For example, if you are on EBT, you have to buy food from certain places, and a lot of those foods can be genetically modified or just unhealthy in so many different ways. But what you can do, if you can go to your local farmers market, a lot of the small sellers are not going to accept EBT, but the larger ones may or may not. So ask. This is where, again, a mother cannot be sad, shame, silly. Have some audacity, babe. Be audacious, babe. You got to have the audacity. Yes, people will talk shit. You let them. It is what it is. There's going to be a day where you're not going to need it, but you're going to have to put in the work if that's the case. And to be honest with you, half of us don't even need those resources, but still go to supermarkets and get them. Go to support your local farmers, support your the local eggs. A lot of them are cheaper and healthier for you. I would say healthier for you downright, absolutely, but also cheaper. You can also do some internet searches, find your local farms that sell their own meat. This will help a lot. Not only are you supporting them, but a lot of them don't use those unethical practices, so they need your support because they're not getting that funding. Yes, Good Ranchers is the one that I can think about most, but it's not just them. A lot of these things like Thrive Market or different subscriptions use better quality foods. Please It is an investment on your future to feed your children well, because if they don't have ailments and emotional and physical disabilities, they'll be able to take care of you better. And if you're eating the same wonderful food they're eating, you won't really need their help mentally, emotionally, or physically. Take care of yourself so that you can take care of your kids, so that they can take care of you, so that they won't even need to take care of you. One thing I had to do was I started eating what I was feeding my child. I was giving him very good food, and I said, Shayla, eat what you're feeding him. And it works. I think that's it I want to talk about. Most of my demographic, my customers are men. It does not behoove us to hate on each other. I'm going to get into that ass next month on Father's Day. But before that, support your child's mother. Support the mothers in your life. Thank you for all the Mother's Day love that I got. I got a lot of, Mother's Day was a good one this year, you guys. I got a fire pit. I got, my sister gave me some oil. This oil is really, botana, I don't know. Don't judge me. My sister gave me this really nice oil. I would go get it, but I don't want to. Hayne got me some gifts as well. He's very loving and kind. And I had a lot of you guys hit me up. Sometimes I feel like Mother's Day, like New Year's, is an opportunity to talk to the girl that stopped talking to you. And you're like, Happy Mother's Day. And it's like, Happy Mother's Day. And like, it's a way in. I rekindled my conversation with so many people yesterday. Support the women in your life. And if you don't have men to support you, find them, especially if you have sons. Karate, jiu-jitsu, put them in boy stuff. Find some good outreach. Find an outreach that has men that will help you support. We can't raise bitches, y'all. And that also goes to feeding them well, because a lot of these foods are attacking their testosterone. Feed them well so they can be men. You understand? All right. I feel like I've gotten everything. I know I haven't gotten to everything. I feel like I missed some things, but it's okay because I talk about these things all the time. I'm going to get to editing so I can post this so I can go to work. I appreciate all the love and support that we have for this community, as well as just in general, the love and support that we get for life. Thank you for being a part of Chocolate Cake 101. My love is your love. Peace. Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot to tell y'all some stuff. I told you about Primal Queen. I told you about 31 Ways to Flow. Men, go to certifiedgear.com. I partnered up with them. Certifiedgear.com is streetwear and expression wear. Not only do we do custom clothing, but we also have really, how do you describe it? It's expressive wear. I think it's funny. It's Erica Kane. When you purchase your items, put in Chocolate Cake 101 in the promotional link so that you can get an additional discount. Like I said, I am processing some of these orders, so I am generous. So if you put Chocolate Cake 101 in the promo code, I got you. And thank you for supporting us with certifiedgear.com certifiedgear.shop. Certifiedgear.shop will be in the description. Primal Queen is also going to be in the description, as well as 31 Ways to Flow. So now, my love is your love, and I'll see you later. Peace.